Alright guys, so I promised you I'd be bringing you this today. Instead of doing a series review, I need to catch up on those. I am doing Nerd Swag's top 10 anime battles of all time. So, just to start off, I want to say, do not hate me and leave a whole bunch of negative comments saying I'm stupid in the comment section down below, because these are what I grew up with. These are what I like. These are what I've seen. These are what have impacted me the most when it comes to anime. I can already tell you right now, there's not going to be a One Piece battle in here because I haven't watched One Piece, and I probably won't watch it for a while because it's already like what 600 episodes deep. Like I'd have to take a whole lot of time in order to catch up. So I did check out One Piece fight, but I don't really have any context because usually a lot of fights, have anticipation and build up to them, which make them a lot better. So if you just watch a fight by itself, it's not really that great. You have to know what's going on and know who the guy is and know what's happened in order to bring it to this point. So these are my top 10 anime fights of all time. Feel free, while you're watching this or after I'm done, to leave comments down below of what your favorite fight is, what's your top 10, and if you agree with my top 10 or not. Just no need to bash. Everybody has their own opinion. Just want to get that out there before I start. Alright, so number 10, I have Bit Cloud versus Vega Obscura from Zoids New Century Zero. This battle is hyped halfway through the series, and because Vega Obscura has also an Ultimate X like Big Cloud does. If you've watched this series, if you haven't, I suggest you watch it. Very good. It's very short, only 26 episodes, and very good action anime. So it's both of them have Ultimate X Zoids, which are pretty much Zoids that have battle memory. They can remember a Zoid they fought, remember how they fight, and then use that against them the next time they fight them. So in this battle, it's super intense. Like it's like the final battle to see who gets to go to Class S, which is the highest class you can go to, and these two Ultimate X's fight it out. And I don't want to tell you who wins because I want you to go and watch it. I want you to go watch the series. Don't just watch the battle. You'll think the battle's stupid. Honestly, if I saw this battle without watching the series, I would think it's stupid. So go watch the series, watch this battle. Super intense, super awesome. It had me just like yelling at the screen. So highly suggest that one. Alright, now to number 9. I have Ed and Alphonse Elric versus Father Homunculus. The homunculi, whatever you want to call him. So if you've watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, you'll know how intense of a story this is, how awesome of an anime this is, and it is one of the most hyped battles outside other battles. A few other battles I'll mention on here, because some of them are more hyped than others, but this one is super hyped, and when you get to this battle, like it is, you're just out of your seat. It's intense, awesome battle. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are anime fans have seen this one. Yeah, if you haven't, go watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's on Netflix. It's all over the internet. Go check it out. Awesome watch. It's only 26 episodes, I believe, around there. So I promise you won't be disappointed with that series. All right, number 8 is a recent battle that has came out fairly recently. It's not a classic, but I'm sure it will be here in the next few years. It is Eren versus the female Titan from Attack on Titan. This is a super, even though your protagonist loses the battle, you want him to transform into a Titan like the whole time while they're running away from the female Titan in order to get Eren into safety. But obviously some things happen, and like I'm sure all of you know, Eren transforms and fights against the female Titan, which is an awesome fight. It's very short, but it is super intense, and you're just like glued to the screen until you find out, who comes out the victor. But that's pretty much an instant classic fight. I think there's probably going to be more battles from that series that are even better than that one. We've already seen one in the manga, but obviously manga is manga and anime is anime. I'm giving you top 10 anime of all time. So since we've seen that one in anime form, that one goes on there for Attack on Titan. Um, Now number 7 is Lee versus Gaara and Narado. This easily could have ranked higher, but there's so many good fights. I can't really put it above any of the other ones. But this is an awesome battle. It's like toward the beginning of Narado, and it's awesome. I mean, like the intensity once Lee takes off those weights, man, it gets good. I really think Lee should have won that, but yeah, Gaara wins. Spoiler, sorry if you haven't watched Narado. I'm sure a lot of you already have. If you haven't, go watch that fight. That fight is a good fight, regardless of what you've seen of Narado. You can go watch that fight. Just go YouTube and type in Gaara versus Lee fight, and you'll find it. It's really good. One of my faves, probably one of my favorites from the series. The only reason why I have it above Narado versus Pain or Sasuke versus Itachi is because of how nostalgic that one is for me, and how this series has been going for 10 years. I've been reading the series for 10 years, but watching it for probably about 6, 7. So this one definitely brings back memories every time I watch it, and that's why it's ranked number 7 on the list above all the other Narado fights. All right, number 6 is Ichigo versus Okuria, I believe how you pronounce it. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you know who I'm talking about. The Hollow that Ichigo fights like 3 times. Their final fight is super epic, so exciting, and you get to see Ichigo finally transform into his full Hollow host form, or whatever you call it, and he just owns. It's so awesome. I wish we would have saw more of that form. We only got to see that form once. It would have been nice to see him in that form, being able to control it, but obviously, spoiler alert, against Aizen, he masters it in a way to where he puts it all towards power, and he doesn't use whatever body energy anymore. The Raitsu or whatever they call it. I don't remember how you pronounce it, because it's been a while since I've watched Bleach, since they stopped running it, but they're still doing the manga. But that is an awesome fight. There's not much to explain about the fight. You just need to go watch it. If you've watched it, you understand what I'm talking about. There's not really much I can go into detail about on that. So now we're down halfway. Number 5 is, believe it or not, at number 5, it's Goku versus Frieza. I know you guys are going to probably think that's ranked pretty low. That's probably at the top of a lot of people's lists. But there's so many good fights in the Dragon Ball series, all 3 series, actually all 2. But believe me, there'll be more on this list of Dragon Ball fights. Goku versus Frieza, super hyped fight. If you know anything about Dragon Ball Z, if you've watched or read Dragon Ball Z, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you were born in the late 80s, really early 90s, then this is probably one that is one of your faves, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, because this is one of the battles that pretty much made anime a big thing in the United States and pretty much all around the world. So this one comes in at number 5. I know you guys are going to hate me, but there's other good fights that I'm about to bring up. So at number 4, I have Narado versus Sasuke in part 1. I mean, they met up previously in part 2, which was kind of a one-sided battle, but in part 1, super good fight. A really long fight, drawn out, but it's 2 huge powers going against one another. Narado's trying to bring Sasuke back to the village. Narada uses his 9 tails chakra for the first time in an actual like cloak mode. And Sasuke uses his curse seal mark for the first time in curse seal mark 2, version number 2, and they collide. And even though I think the battle sort of turned out differently, it still turns out a great fight and pretty much sets up the series for what it turns into, which is Narado Shippuden, which is what happens is a 3-year time skip, which is pretty much a training time skip, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Awesome fight. I believe you guys will will agree with me how high this one's ranked. I'm sure a lot of you have this at the top of your list. I mean, these top five, I'm sure are at the top of a lot of people's lists. So yeah, tell me what you think about that in the comments down below. On to number 3, which is Gohan versus Cell. This is my second favorite fight of Dragon Ball. Hint, hint. Gohan is my favorite character in Dragon Ball Z, so I kind of have like a little bit of a bias toward this fight. Seeing Gohan turn Super Saiyan 2, so intense. Finally able to control his, hidden latent power, even though he loses it again. But this is pretty much Gohan's coming out party. I mean, ever since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, it was hinted that Gohan was gonna become the strongest warrior. He fought against He beat Raditz. Well, he didn't beat Raditz. He injured Raditz better than Goku and Piccolo could do at the time. He fought against Vegeta and held his own pretty much better than Krillin could. On Namek, he did an awesome job. Fought against Frieza. He almost beat Frieza once. In Frieza in his third form, if he didn't have that tail holding him back, I believe Frieza would have been finished with that huge blast he sends against Frieza. And then finally, and the Cell arc, we see him become the guy. Surpasses his dad, surpasses Vegeta, surpasses everybody, defeats Cell, even though it cost him his dad's life, because he becomes a little arrogant with his power. But this is an intense fight, awesome fight, one of the best fights in anime, I believe, of all time. And now, down to number 2, which I have as Yusuke versus Toguro. Yu Yu Hakusho is probably my favorite anime of all time. And this fight is probably the most hyped fight of any anime that I've watched. It's like pretty much the whole series, excluding one arc, which is the very end arc. This fight is like destined to happen, and we all knew that shit, I don't care what you call it, was going to go down when this fight happened, and it did not disappoint. Even though there was casualties, in order to get Yusuke to bring out his full power, it didn't disappoint. This is like one of my favorite fights of all time. Yusuke is one of my favorite characters of all time, and I remember watching this on Toonami and seeing that, just coming home every day from school, putting on Yu Yu Hakusho, and being so excited for this fight definitely brings back a lot of memories for me. And this fight I still watch this fight. I think I just watched it a few days ago. It still is an awesome fight. Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the best anime and manga out there. I suggest you go read it or watch it if you have the time to do so. And here we are, number 1. I think you guys can guess this one. This one pretty much started off anime for me. When I first started watching anime, this one was the fight that got me into it. Number 1 is Goku versus Vegeta. The first fight, their very first fight, when after they beat Raditz, not in the Buu Saga. So, yeah, this fight is so intense. This is when Goku first learns his Kaioken technique and uses that a lot against Vegeta. And we see that huge key energy blast that pretty much determines the fate of the Earth. Because if Vegeta wins, the Earth gets blown up. So that was epic proportions. You see those two energy blasts collide, and they're both dueling it out until Goku uses Kaioken times 4, I believe, or times 3, and he's able to overtake Vegeta in an energy battle. But that is by far my favorite. I'm sure it's your guys' favorites too. One of your guys' favorites. It's a classic, instant classic. It's been around since I think the early 90s, late 80s. And it's still like number 1. I mean, on my list at least it is. That is a great battle. If you guys want to go watch that on YouTube, you don't need any kind of backstory to watch this one. It'll probably be about a 20-minute fight, and it's good. It's epic. It's good. But yeah, go watch that one. I highly suggest you go watch that one. And that is Nerd Swags or my top 10 list of anime fights of all time. I might do another one next year, seeing as that there'll be other fights that introduce themselves in the series or in the other series. So let me know what you guys thought about my list. No bashing. Just let me know what you guys thought about it, and leave your guys' top 10 list in the comments down below. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to Nerd Swag. And until next time, you guys. Peace.